Welcome back to the Manc Entrepreneur YouTube channel, and in today's video I'm not quite sure how this is going to be titled, but it's basically 20 things that I have learned in the past 10 years approaching my 30th birthday. So I wanted to make this video. I am approaching 30 very soon, and it feels like a bit of a milestone. It feels like like a milestone is the best way to describe it. It's a round figure, and yeah, I'm no longer in that 24 to 29 category. I'll be in the 30 to whatever category. I wanted to take this opportunity in this video to try and, share with you some things that I've learned about myself and about life and about business in the last 10 years, to hopefully help you, but also to maybe sort of spark some discussion internally with yourself about what your opinions are on some of the things which I'm going to be talking about today. Yeah, I don't want to come. I'm not some sort of crazy philosopher. If anything, I'm creating this video for me. So selfishly, in 10 years' time, when I'm 40, I can look back and see how much I've changed in those 10 years. Because when I look back when I look back to my 20s and from 30, I've changed a lot and I've learned a lot. And as you'll find out, that's one of the key things that can sum up the last 10 years. So anyway, with that said, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. If you have any comments, questions, whatever, leave them down below. Subscribe while you're here. If you have no interest in this video, by all means, click the X, disappear, come back next time. Like I said, this video, from a purely selfish point of view, was largely made for me. So, number one, I do believe that luck is what happens to you, but skill is what you do with it. I do believe to a degree that you create your own luck. You put yourself in positions that would enable people to call you lucky. Don't get me wrong, there are certain things which there's no rhyme or reason to it, and that's one of the great mysteries of life as to why certain things happen. But I think being open to luck, and then what you do with that opportunity is ultimately what is the biggest driver to success. 2, I've said this numerous times in the past, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. I, in the past, have known some very, very gifted people who I would say have wasted 10 years of their life through their 20s, going out drinking, doing having a great time, and now it's in their 30s. I believe that their prime time has sort of gone, where they would have been able to make a big difference in the world. And yet those people who maybe didn't have the talent but who wanted it, were passionate about it and worked incredibly hard, are now seeing the success which the talented could have had. It's a shame to see talent wasted, but ultimately hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Number 3, I am my own worst critic. That's the one thing, getting personal, that I've realised over the past 10 years. I'm my own worst critic, and that's okay. The fact that I demand high expectations from myself, whether that be personally or in a business sense, I'm okay with that. I'd rather that than get complacent and not be able to reach my full potential. Number 4 is I am actually nowhere near the target that I set myself at the age of 30. And that's okay, because that sort of links back to the last one. I remember, again, maybe early 20s, saying, oh yeah, by the time I'm 30, I'll have this, I'll have that, blah, blah, blah. I'll be at this level. And honestly, I'm not there. And it hurts a little bit to say it, but on the same understanding, I knew that I set very ambitious expectations of myself, and the fact that I am even close-ish, or I mean even in sort of the ballpark of where I wanted to be, that's good enough for me. Because like I said, I'm my own worst critic, and I set high expectations for myself. Number 5, if I could sum up my 20s by one thread, it would be learning. I think I've learnt so much in the past 10 years, having started two successful businesses that are still going today. And the thing that goes with that, I've done an awful lot of reading about business. I've managed to travel a lot in my 20s, and each one of these experiences has led me to learn. And I do think that in my 30s, I really want to dedicate the 30s to action, growth, and implementation of what I've learned in the past 10 years. I think the next 10 years from 30 to 40, all being well, if I don't go under a bus, we'll see some big things. So that's again my own worst critic, and I'm setting even stupider expectations of myself, but that's just what I do. Number 6 is I need to realize my own value more. I take for granted what I know, from a business, from an e-commerce, from an entrepreneurial point of view, and I give a lot of content, a lot of value away for free, which is great, and I'm going to continue doing that. But I think when people want my time or attention for their own benefit, I need to realize that my own value is higher than what I've perhaps previously been charging. I need to be more aware of the value that I have and the experience that I have over the past 10 years. 7, investing in property was a great thing to do. I have no children, but over the past 3 or so years, I have owned property. Where you used to see me, I did own that. It wasn't rented. And obviously, as you know, I've now changed, and at the time of recording, I haven't sold it yet, but in the next few hours, it will hopefully all go through. And when it does, that will have been a very, very good investment. And yeah, hopefully looking to do more of that in the next few years, because that was quite a wise move. 8, stopping watching or reading the news was one of the best things that I did. And it's something which, again, 10 years ago, when I was finishing my studies for my politics degree, I would have laughed, because my day, every day, would revolve around reading, or listening to the news, seeing what was going on in the world, in the global sphere of things. And about 2 or 3 years ago, I decided that that the news was actually bad. Only bad news ever made the news, and it was not good for generally my mental health, or I believe anybody's mental health, to be surrounded by that much negative. I don't want to use the word propaganda. I know a lot of people use that, but a lot of negative reinforcement about the state of the world. I've been a lot happier having not consumed that much news. And trust me, the big important stuff you will find out about anyway. So I would argue that I knew about the Manchester bombing before Sky News did, because again, I was in Manchester. That's just how it happened. But the big important stuff you'll find out about. Don't read newspapers, watch the news. It's all bad stuff. It does affect your mentality. Number 9, say yes more. Go on more adventures and step out your comfort zone. I think that's something which I've, again, since starting my business maybe 5 years ago, it's this persona that you see now of me. I've said this before. A lot of my friends and family do not watch my videos because they think it's cringy as hell. What you see on YouTube is about me turned up 15-20%. I'm usually a lot more chill, a lot more calm, and it's one of those things. But what I would say is that since being an entrepreneur and sort of having to put yourself out there, put your content, your thoughts, your opinions out into the world, you do build a sort of iron skin, I guess. You get a little bit more tough. You are prepared for criticism, I guess. And I think an offshoot of that is it has led me to say yes more, say yes to things, and put myself out of my comfort zone. So whether that be giving talks to rooms full of people, whether that be moving to LA for 3 months back in 2014, I think that was 2014. Whether that be saying yes to a 150-mile bike ride when you haven't ridden a bike in years. It's good to go on adventures. It's good to step out of your comfort zone. I think you learn more about you as a person by doing that. Comfortable is great, but it's not where you grow, in my opinion. Number 10, if you want what you don't have, you need to do what you haven't done or aren't doing. And I have got some notes here which I'm reading off to remember all these, obviously. But yeah, I truly am a believer of this, and it's sort of it's a link. You can link this to Einstein, a famous Einstein quote saying, "The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result." We're pretty much along those lines here. If you want something that you don't have, you'll have to do something that you haven't done. It's as simple as that. You need to change something to get what you haven't already got. Number 11, stop comparing yourself to others. In fact, there's probably a link at the top corner, which I'll put in on the video, where I've spoken about this before, that the social media impacts and how comparing yourself to other people is leading to, in my opinion, this increased depression sort of epidemic that we're getting globally. You don't have to compare yourself to anyone. Your story is different to everyone else's story. And I would argue the only person that you need to be better than is the person you were yesterday. It's one of those things. I speak to a lot of people in the job that I do, and I get people telling me, oh, I can't believe such a body's done this or that or the other and blah, blah, blah. It's like, listen, that's their story. That's their life. Don't compare yours to theirs, because it isn't meant to be the same. If we were all going to lead the same life, it would all be very boring and we'd all know exactly how it was going to end. Tell your own story. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing. Number 12, travel as much as you can. It's a big world and you never know when you're going to leave it. So don't put things off. I've been very fortunate. You've seen me on the channel before. I was just thinking sort of semi-recently. I was in Luxembourg last year, Berlin, Spain, London. This year I've been to Tenerife. I'll be going to Amsterdam in a week or so. I've been in the Caribbean at Christmas. I was in Thailand and the Philippines for a 2-week, 3-week period a few years ago. I lived in LA. Like I said, it's a big world, and you never know what could happen next. And I used to think along the lines of, I'll make my money, and then once I retire, I'll see the world. And then I realised that is a luxury afforded to not everyone. Not everyone makes it to that age. So live life while you can. And that's basic. I know it's sort of depressing, but it's just a reality. Take that trip. Visit that place that you've always wanted to go to, because tomorrow is not guaranteed, unfortunately. Number 13, as I said, time is short. In this, I can't believe I'm 30. I still feel like 17 in my head, but I'm nearly 30. Time is short, and spend as much time as you can with the people who you like, with the people who are good for you, and the people who you enjoy their company. Life is too short to be tolerating idiots, people who you argue with, or just generally surrounding yourself with negative people. It's not good for you, and you don't need to do it. Number 14, I believe that the meaning of life is to find happiness and provide value in what you spend your time doing. And the beauty of that is that answer will be different for every single person. What one person finds happiness is would be hell for someone else. So do you, at the end of the day. Do whatever if you can spend the majority of your days doing what you love or what makes you happy or providing value to the people you care about or the people or people generally, if you just want to help people, then do that. And you can't, I don't think you could leave a more valuable life than that. Number 15, it is okay to fail. In fact, I would say it's absolutely brilliant to fail, because if you fail, it means that you tried something new. And if you try something new and you learned, it means that you'll eventually succeed. The only thing that is not okay is to not try at all. That shit is inexcusable. Like I said, time is short. We're all here for some unknown reason on this rock hurling through space. What have you got to lose? And I always ask yourself, what's the worst thing that can happen? And I guarantee it's probably not that bad. Number 16, it is okay to have a bad day and feel down. You wouldn't be normal if you didn't have emotions like that. You know, I'm a big believer that you have to experience the bad so you know what the good should feel like. You know, if everything was good, that would no longer be good. That would just be normal for you. So you really do need to have the bad days so you can enjoy the good days. And always remember that no matter how, I know, again, a lot of people on this chat have spoken about mental health before, and I've had friends and people who reach out to me, and I'm really fucking privileged that they do, that they feel that they can talk to me about something like this. Because I do believe that we need to end the stigma around mental health, especially amongst men. But I want every single person who's watching this to remember that you are loved. You may not feel like it sometimes, but I guarantee the world would be a worse place without you in it, and there'd be someone else on this planet who, if you were not here, they would not be complete. So please bear that in mind. 17, if you do not like your current situation, do something about it. You're not a tree. You're not rooted to the ground. You can do whatever it is that you want to do. You just have to put the steps in place to make that happen. I'm a living example of that. I was not happy in the normal 9-to-5 job. I had no idea if I could make it self-employed, but I knew I had to try. And like I said, 6 years later from going down that route of self-employment, I'm still here. I'm doing better than I ever was. My lifestyle is now better than it ever could be in a 9-to-5 job. Remember that not everything is also about money, but it's about freedom. I can take tomorrow off. I don't have to take a holiday day. I don't have to ask permission from someone. I can just do my own thing. So, if you don't like your current situation, don't wait 10, 20, 30 years to try and change it. Start looking at what you need to do now and put the action in place. Don't waste time. Like I said, it's short. And perfectly, number 18 is time is your biggest commodity. Spend it wisely. Time, people say that time is money. Time is worth more than money. The world is never going to run out of money. They print more. But once you've spent time, you can't get it back. You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. So utilize your time wisely. And like I said, there's a thread throughout everything that I'm saying here. A lot of what I've learned in my 20s is, time is precious and life is too short to not do what you want or what you believe you can fulfill in your life. So bear that in mind. 19, if you are in a position to help someone, then help them. The world needs more of that right now. If you see someone who is less fortunate than you, please do not look down on them. Help them up. The world genuinely needs more of that. And finally, number 20. And I believe that number 20 is perhaps the underlying rule of life. No matter what religion you are, no matter what race, sex, gender, whatever you want to identify as, number 20 sort of should be at the core of everyone, at the core of everything that we do. Be nice to people. the world definitely needs more of that. It's to the point where people ask me, would I have children? And my answer, sadly, is right now, I'm not sure I would want to bring children up in this world. But I have to sort of flip that thinking to, well, I should bring children into this world to sort of lead the way of the change that is needed. There's a lot of hate, and I do think that every religious book, and don't get me wrong, I believe religion is a lot to blame for a lot of things going on around the world. But I believe that in every religion, there's a current thread amongst what they teach, and it could all be just condensed into one thing. It's be nice to people. Don't be a dick. It really is that simple. So anyway, that is the 20 things that I've learned in the last 10 years now that I'm 30. A lot of numbers. I'm not sure I could make that work in a title that would make sense. But anyway, I would love to hear your thoughts. Well, what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Whatever. Like I said, this video was largely for me anyway. But yeah, I'm getting old. As are you watching this. I'm the oldest that I've ever been right now. So yeah, and so are you. With that said, thank you so much for indulging this video on my behalf. I do appreciate it. And I'll catch you for some much more regular scheduled programming next week. I'll see you then.